Guys, welcome to another commentary done by Diggity. This is going to be Semih versus Herbmon Game 2. It's one of those things where I feel like I'm a cheerleader for both these guys. So it's just really fun to see them in a matchup head-to-head. Also got some information from Chatland Season 1 champion Arcade Wins. That this is a good series because apparently Herbmon knocked Semih down to the loser's bracket at CSL Montreal. So extra information for me there. 12 o'clock location, Herbmon starting as the black Zerg, bottom left-hand corner. We got Semih starting as the yellow Protoss on Apocalypse. 3-player map without ramps. Trying to think, you know what? Like, when I think of all of the old school 3-player maps, are all 3-player maps rampless? Tau Cross, Ascension. Wonder why that is. I wish I had like a Korean professional map maker to sit and explain the reason for me. Maybe it would be too easy for one race to the another if it was a 3-player ramped map. Curiosities. Anyway, probe may get, or maybe it's the opposite where you can only have rampless maps on 3-player for some reason, and that's actually what's more going on. Side curiosities. But game 1, by the way, went for a drone extractor trick. Game 1 in Herbmon's favor. Just really Semih not able to get some damage done in the early game, and Herbmon able to catch Semih off guard with some drops. And I'm wondering if he actually prepared that for Semih. I would not be shocked. Some drop play to follow up. And then just some smothering macro as far as the continuation. Probe's going to be able to find the Overlord if it... Well, is he? So that was... Well, okay, he's not able to find the probe right there. It looks like it is going to be another Forge opener. A little bit surprised to see the Forge openers from Semih. I do feel like this is a pretty strong map for 973 play because it is such a wide natural expansion. You can just see where the Hydralisks can approach. So I'll be interested to see if Semih's got something. And honestly, just having Zealots active and around the map has been the play for it. But in the meantime, we got the spawning pool constructing, which should force out a cannon on a... Well, no, never mind. Gonna go for Nexus first. I was thinking on 3-player maps you needed a cannon because it was a little bit shorter rush distance, but I guess it depends. You can get away with this, honestly, because it looks like Herbmon not saving any larva to get out the necessity, and that might have been what was spotted by Semih here. Not getting any of the initial larva out to produce Zerglings to potentially challenge that front. So Herbmon going for more of the economic early play. Natural expansion already constructing, going to go ahead and plop down that third base at the nearby corner. He does need to stay aware of where this probe and also make sure that, yeah, he gets Overlord coverage, because one thing with the Forge up is oftentimes you can get sneaky, more of a Jayun move, sneaky cannons out in the field. So the probe going to go ahead and pull back, and you lose the mining time of that probe, but you also end up with other opportunities. Anyway, cannon behind the gateway at the natural expansion in the meantime. Probe able to confirm that third base. And the Zergling going to go ahead and march out to the front to see if any Zealots have been produced as of yet. An immediate tech to lair. I wish I had gotten a better look at that extractor timing. But I think this is going to be... I'm expecting maybe something similar to the initial. We have the detritus of Zerg remains here that are slowly seeping into... We're just going to watch that seep. Slowly seeping into the sand after the fact. Gas cybernetics score in the meantime for Semih. Layer about 2/3 finished. So kind of not an exact repeat of game 1. The Zealot actually marching out. The Overlord sees the Zealot marching out. Wondering if that was in response to the early Zergling kill, but it could potentially also be in response to the fact that there's not a lot of Zealots out in the field, and Herbmon needs to be careful with that. Cannon taking a chunk out of that initial Overlord on the front. So Zealot marching up to that 3 o'clock location. No Zerglings have been built as of yet. He can only wail against the hatchery. It's got enough health to deal with, but that will potentially pause. That'll force out a few additional Zerglings and might delay mining slightly at this stage. So 3 Zerglings moving out. Okay, now we got 5 Zerglings. I'm going to go ahead and pocket back for Semih. Herbmon going to go ahead and do the Zergling trade thing here. Ooh, Zealot briefly making its way out. And the Overlord not quite in position to see, and there was an opportunity for another Zealot to make its way out, but this probe has been very active in the main in the meantime. Sees the Spire timing, and a drone actually pulling off to try to deny it some form of information. The Zerglings finally have Zergling speed. One of them got the Zealot kill while I was distracted. Gonna go ahead and, well, are they gonna be able to get the probe kill though? Keep wandering up to the probe, thinking about attacking, and then not finishing. And this is an eyeful of information for Semih. He's gonna get the full Spire completion timing. Corsair about halfway finished in the meantime, but Herbmon, yeah, a little bit distracted getting these drones saturated potentially as a result. And again, a few Zealots kind of crowding up on the front. One problem with going with that Forge first play is you just end up with fewer Zealots at this stage of the match. +1 weapons queued up, by the way. So sometimes that's just for show. So we're going to leave our mouse there to see whether this is in fact going to be +1 weapons. And are we going to see old school Bisu build? Overlord down, that does supply block Herbmon. For a brief moment, he's dropped a hatchery, and it looks like an... is this 2 hatchery? Just a Hydro Sten and a hatchery there on the front. But 2 Overlords going to get wiped out because of the initial Overlord positioning here out in the field. So that's going to be 2 free Overlords. Herbmon in the red for a considerable amount of time. And we got that +1 weapon still sailing. Okay, finally the Scourge able... Ooh, just attack a health left. Bit of a dodge. This one going to come back and sneeze. Yeah, sneezing on that Overlord to get that continuation kill. And Scourge going to try to... They're going to have to guess as far as the location. But killing that first Corsair actually pretty helpful with +1 weapons on the way. It's not double Stargate, but we are seeing the Corsairs being built up. So we'll see if we see if it's just going to be Corsair Zealot, which is more likely. Or if we will see Corsair Zealot... nope. Might see a Dark Templar. All right. Let's check it out. Could be fun. Could see some shenanigans. Evolution Chamber at the 3rd. 5 hatcheries up now for Herbmon, so doing very similar builds to previous. Scourge taking a shot, and really I don't think Herbmon has any wind of this because he hasn't utilized the Scourge as of yet to sneak into the main. I don't think he's confirmed this +1 weapons, nor has he confirmed the continuation Corsair count. So it's more often you'll see, and you can see him blocking the probe in there to go ahead and get the micro with the Corsair. So now moving in, is finally seeing some things. And sees that spinning, and oh, he's going to get the wind of this last second. Absolutely last second. But we'll see if it's too little too late. We have a handful of Hydros that have been constructed, but now we got the 5 Corsair that can bully the Scourge back. We got a good amount of Hydro... Oops, wrong unit. A good amount of... We got 6 Hydros. I don't think that's going to be enough to save those 2 Overlords. We got all sorts of... We got 6 Overlords here. And I don't know that that's enough Hydros to keep them alive either. So, we'll see. We'll see how... Because they just shred so rapidly. Like... Woo! Nice focus fire, though, on the Corsair. That is the way you take care of this Scourge right there. Able to get some counter damage done. More Corsair grouping up. The more Corsair that group up, the more dangerous this gets. It looks like they're going to go ahead and wander into the main. Overlord speed is upgraded. That helps a bit against this play. No Dark Templar quite on the field. A couple Zerglings wandering mid-map. The Dark Templar not quite able to engage there. And this is a big investment from Semih. And he has yet to really capitalize on it. And I think that Dark Templar probably revealed itself mid-map there to Herbmon. But Herbmon, I think right here, he's just content. He's already dropping an additional hatchery. Yeah, he's content to just group up and make sure he preserves the Overlord count. This is, yeah, usually when you invest in this is kind of the problem with this build, is when you spend so much on Corsairs and +1 weapons, you really need to be able to utilize it. But Semih, in the meantime, cleared some Dark Templar to the 6 o'clock. What you can sometimes use it for is just having some latent defense and a little bit of map control as a result, to go ahead and grab an additional base. Instead, we're seeing a turnaround gateway flood here from Semih. He's already got a 20 supply lead. The Zealots starting to make their way out. Corsair's just kind of spreading out, looking for what they can. Zergling, again, in position at the 6 o'clock to potentially deny that base. So the Dark Templar are able to clear 2 Zerglings, but not a lot else. And everything flooding for a potential attack on the front. We are going to have... Is +1 weapons going to be finished? No. And transport, again, being upgraded here from Herbmon. And the Corsair definitely will help against that. So the Corsair starting to group up to descend. The Zealots checking around the circling might be able to create some harassment here at the 6 o'clock, but the Hydralisk now peeling out. Ooh, gonna get a free Corsair kill. A free Corsair kill. Dark Templar finally cleaning up that Zergling here at the 6 o'clock. But in the meantime, Herbmon in a pretty healthy economic situation. He's gonna have +1 weapons finished here shortly. Not all these Corsair really have not done a lot. They are going to provide a kind of a counter threat to potential drop play from Herbmon. So we're trying to hold the high ground with the High Templar and the Zealots. Zergling able to sneak in from somewhere and disrupt a little bit of this Nexus here at the 6 o'clock. A single Zealot going to be tasked to peel off. The Corsair, yeah, fielding forward, and it looks like a lot of them getting wiped out otherwise. So this has been really a null investment from Semih. It's provided him a little bit of map control to get that 6 o'clock base up. Ooh, this is going to be a good engagement for him, though, because Herbmon coming split across the ravine here. And that's a bit of free damage. We got a lot of High Templar. This is nice positioning here from Semih. So despite Semih not getting a lot done with those Corsairs, he's still got a lot of gateways pumping. He's going to get the 6 o'clock base up without too much trouble. But look at this with the turnarounds. Herbmon recognizing, oh hey, I just wiped out a lot of your Corsair. I'm willing to bet maybe you cheaped out. Well, we got a second cannon building here, but you cheaped out on anti-air. So let me build a lot of Mutalisks and see what I can get done. Maybe pick off a High Templar or two, maybe even dive on a Nexus here or there. I feel like the Nexus attack has become less of a thing for Zerg across the board. They prefer going for the High Templar, but we'll see what Herbmon does with them. A couple of them grouped up. Usually it's been like, you've got a single Zergling actually spotting forward. Semih recognizing the threat, diving back, trying to get his army out of position. Yeah, here come the Mutalisks trying to hunt after those High Templar. One High Templar immediately picked off. Psystorm actually catches a good portion of the second amount, so that was 2 High Templar. Okay, so gas for gas. That was 2 High Templar for 6 Mutalisks. That's actually a very good trade. And in the meantime, we're also missing this. Dark Templar dropping at the 12 o'clock. Herbmon seeing it last second, but still not having a response. A couple are any Overlord building here? No. And the Dark Templar are able to follow the drones all the way to the natural expansion. And this here, oh my goodness. 8 kills already. We got another Dark Templar that's just kind of planting itself. Finally, between some scattering and whatnot, able to create some defense. Some drones misrallied. They're going to lose their lives out in the front as well. And this is just Psystorm bait if the Psystorm can arrive. Decent Psystorm, unfortunately lands on mostly Zealots. Who cares? Zealots have shields to work with. Mutalisks making their way back out, but it's going to be Mutalisks on Dragoons, and the Dragoons are in higher numbers. But Herbmon going to turn around. He's actually at a supply deficit overall, and so I think he's just thinking, okay, I got to win this with a counterattack potentially. He's lost a lot of troops, though. And he's got a lot of exposed Overlords as well. Zealots marching in to reinforce. Semih, for the moment, needs to back off, but he's got a 124 versus 73 supply lead. So as soon as he gets... Where's the rest of his army, though, is the question. As soon as he gets his army regathered... Lost a few High Templar, which is actually very, very costly. But as soon as he gets regathered, he's still in a really good spot. Semih going to go ahead and grab a base bottom right. Herbmon grabbed a base 9 o'clock in the location in the meantime. But he's taking definitely taking a swatting here and there. Ooh, a lot of lurkers morphing, though, in the midst of this mid-map. These drones have been, misrallied for quite a bit of time. It looks like they're going to go ahead and finally make the way to the 9 o'clock. That might have been the intent the entire time. Meantime, Semih still has that shuttle. Has managed to get additional bases solidified. He's 45 supply up. But I'm still wondering where that supply is, because there's this army that doesn't look all that formidable. He's got a little bit of a pocket army right here. It looks like he's going to go for some storm drops. Is it just mostly queued up in these gateways? In a good position right here, though. Also has a Zealot in position to go ahead and deny top right. No observers that I see, however, to deal with. Ooh, this could be a great Psystorm. Some lurkers gathering up to go for some additional drops, and look at that. Blanketing Storm completely wiping out the 9 o'clock location. That was about as beautiful a Psystorm drop as you will see. And the Archon to follow in this position is going to be a bit frustrating to deal with. But in the meantime, we got the counterattack of Overlords. Did Semih see it? Semih might not have seen it. Might not matter, though. Well, never mind. He doesn't... Okay, he does have an observer. It's just out of position. A huge drop on the main. Might be a total swing of events right here, as Herbmon able to get all sorts of lurkers planted as well. The Corsair making their way up, trying to damage what they can. The Observer coming in a bit late and has to make its way around the Hydralisk, and actually the Observatory going to get picked off. That is huge. Especially with the sheer amount, the sheer volume. So nice target fire, getting the Observatory and the Templar Archives. But now, as far as a turnaround attack, there's the question... Oh, and the Observer got picked off as well, so the single lurker might be able to remain here for the long haul. Was there another Observer queued up? Okay, we got one other Observer. That might be the only Observer out in the field right this second. For Semih. Okay, looks like that lurker... So, never mind, we got 2 Observers? We got 2 Observers for... And that's going to be it for a considerable period of time. Herbmon making his way forward. He's going to catch some probes here mid-map. Oof. Might get some damage done. Nice positioning, and Herbmon now threatening the bottom right-hand corner and the 6 o'clock location, diving in with a group of Hydralisks towards the 6 o'clock, and Semih has to be very, very disciplined as far as the response, because again, no Observatory, and he's rebuilding that Templar Archives right this second. Very rapidly clearing out everything mid-map. Now the question is does he bother trying to defend bottom right, or does he just go for the counterattack? Looks like bottom right is going to get completely cleared. He's holding for now. Couple Zealots making their way that direction. We got another big grouping of reinforcements for Herbmon as well. But a nice assault at the 4 o'clock, and now Semih, he's down a base. He's got some decent supply. He's got, how's he doing upgrade-wise? He's just about to be at equal upgrades. And this is looking not great for Semih overall. Although he... Well, no, that's just a... I was wondering if that was a dropship. Or a shuttle, I should say. At position. We got another big drop making its way in for Herbmon. This actually might be a problem for Herbmon, though. Because he's moving a lot of his supply back into the main. Ooh, another observer loss. And Semih has a lot of army out in the field, so he might have been able to go... Might have been able to threaten there. Reinforcements trying to do what they can. Does the Templar... Where's the Templar, new Templar Archive? Looks like a lot of the units getting cleared out. A handful of pylons getting picked off. Mostly just working on the pylons that were powering gateways. And yeah, we got 2 unpowered gateways now. In the midst of this. So Herbmon still keeping Semih. And honestly, this base should have mined out a while ago, but because of these consistent drops, a few minerals remain there. Semih's just been off balance this entire time. As Herbmon just assaulting all corners. Semih able to get another drop with a shuttle, looks like, or the Zealots might have just walked up here. I missed the location at the 9 o'clock, creating a lot of disruption there. Drones trying to make their way back across. High Templar with a lot of Psystorm in tow. And this is a really good Psystorm area. If you can plant it. Ends up losing, maybe, okay, able to turn around and get 1 Psystorm off. 2 Psystorm off. Last second. But a sudden victory for Semih. He's going to be able to wipe out that 9 o'clock. And Herbmon down on supply all of a sudden. He's got a lot of resources in his bank, but not sure if he's got... Well, he's got a lot of larvae. He just needs to spend it really rapidly and is having a little bit of trouble with his minerals versus gas, so might want to fill in with some Zerglings to try to fill things in the meantime, because Semih continuing to barrel out. So breaking off a handful of troops, he's just going to Psystorm the... No, not going to spend the Psystorm here. Counterattack from the high ground, threatening the 6 o'clock. Semih backing up. Worker count just about even. I think things definitely in Herbmon's favor right this second. Herbmon diving in, trying to clear out those cannons, is bleeding a lot of Hydralisks. And that army drawing back once again from Semih. In response. Psystorm killing a few probes, but catching, it looks like, a good amount of the Hydralisks as well. So, this is also where that Templar Archives and the new Observatory were, by the way. So an interesting situation. So 9 o'clock's gone. The minerals are looking a little bit thin for Herbmon. So main, and this is just kind of the Zerg timing of things, main, natural, and third a little bit light. He still has that lurker field defending these locations. An observer just making sure that that fourth base hasn't been grabbed. So he's still mining at the 6 o'clock. Mining once again bottom right. So 2 base versus 3. 3 o'clock base being grabbed kind of as an emergency option for Herbmon. A Dark Templar easily can just wander up and wipe that out. Looks like a few troops. Never mind, that Dark Templar he's gonna get that on the patrol. And Semih now making his way forward to that high ground plateau. If he can get the observer alongside, should be able to clear that up. He's gonna go ahead and drop a few Psy Storm. This is basically the fight over that 9 o'clock base. Semih backing up a little bit, has a lot of supply to work with here. A single control group of Hydralisks out there. 3 o'clock base once again down. Semih regrouping. Is he just going to try to take the... I'm wondering, yeah, okay, he's streaming a few troops through on the low ground. Handful of Zealots going to try to power that down. His army a bit split. Most of his army here, the Dragoons and High Templar. A couple Psystorm able to clear out a bit, but Herbmon doesn't have the brunt of a lot of his attack force. Looks like it's not yet hotkeyed up either. And therefore still waiting on that high ground plateau. One observer might get picked off here. So yeah, an observer gets picked off, but Herbmon has to watch on the high ground now as Semih able to snake in across the low ground and deny that 9 o'clock base. And Herbmon calling it right there, recognizing he just wasn't going to be able to keep up economically. So game 2 goes to Semih, and we are going to go to a game 3 opportunity for Semih to get some revenge and knock Herbmon this time to the lower bracket. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for listening.